I'm here with JP Tillman. He is the quarterbacks coach for Gator commit DJ Lagway. I know Gator fans are super excited for him to come to Gainesville next year, and he's really kind of the mantelpiece of this 2024 class. JP, tell Gator fans what they are getting with DJ Lagway.
Gator Nation is getting a wonderful young man who's been raised by an amazing pair of parents who have raised him, the right way. He's as genuine as it comes with his faith, and I think he is unapologetic with it. And at the same time, he's not forcing it on anybody, but you can see that he's a kid that understands who God is to him, and I was telling you earlier, I think that probably gets Gator fans reminiscent of Tim Tebow. I kind of joked and said that to somebody the other day, but that's kind of where I see, him. And he is just as much of a saint on the field. He's a saint on the street, but, on the field, the dude is a monster. And I think you're getting a kid that can make the plays that are needed to be made when the defense kind of has made a good adjustment of the offense. I think he gives you multiple dynamics or dimensions as a quarterback, not just his legs, not just the ability to throw it far, but the ability to have arm angles. I think his footwork doesn't get a lot of mention, especially at Elite 11. I thought that everybody wanted to talk about this and that, but how crisp and clean his feet were and how he moved around in the pocket, I think that was one of the things that definitely got left out. On top of his ability to make any type of arm angle throw, when those things happen, I think people tend to say, "Oh, I see a little sidearm here," but he's really just fluent in having different arm paths. That's really it. And I think I said that to Brandon Carroll on the sidelines, was like really just showing him which ones to use at the best time, because he's also was a pitcher and he's still a pitcher, and he just feels, like I said, very very fluent in being able to spit it out in an unorthodox fashion, I'd say. But so does Patrick Mahomes, and so does Aaron Rodgers, and we not every quarterback has the same arm path, and so to make everybody be so cookie cutter, I think as an evaluator, I think you have to kind of watch yourself, because there's something in everybody with how they do certain things. And as they grow, they're going to be able to do even more. But at the same time, the strengths that they have are going to become even greater. And so when you watch DJ throw off platform, when you watch him throw on the run and make this crazy throw, I think the Gator fans they'll be wanting to go to practice, because the type of stuff I see him do in practice all the time is crazier than the stuff he does in the game, almost, because he just has that freedom, and it's no crowd, no refs, no scoreboard, but his head coach also gives him the luxury of just expressing that freedom, and he hasn't been handcuffed like a lot of these high school quarterbacks have been, and he's been able to kind of self-discover in some ways, different approaches and different ways to get the ball out that he'll have to do in the SEC, and he'll have to do behind those big linemen, but um, I don't think there's a player in any of the rankings really that has um, put together what he's been able to put together, also not having such a winning team. The last person I think everybody's seen like this is probably Justin Fields. Um, and he was a 5-star, and there was no real knock on him. It was just how high his ceiling was. And I don't think, and I really like Justin Fields and what he does, but I don't think people were talking about the way he plays the game with the arm paths, being the type of charismatic kid he is. I think it just goes a long way, and he's very approachable. And so those are the things that I think that Gator fans are getting about that young man, and they're also gaining a family, with the Lagway. So
Yeah.
um, I think I said it on somebody else's. Y'all hit the jackpot. Um, but there's also yeah, I told it's today's his birthday.
Oh,
So happy birthday. Um, and so but you know, he's an awesome kid. So
well, you kind of answered my next question, which was what well-known quarterback would you compare him to? And you did with Justin Fields. But is there a quarterback that he tries to emulate?
all the time, all the time. He loves Aaron Rodgers. That's like his main quarterback that I'll probably send him film on certain things. In practice, he was working on an end zone fade, and it was on the 2 yard line. So I sent him a video of Aaron Rodgers and how quick the ball got out, and kind of where he was positioning the ball and the receiver and the defender, and keeping it that way, not letting the ball get in between the receiver and the defender. He totally understood, but giving him the video and seeing it from somebody that he really, adores and watches and emulates, um, I think it helps him even more. Patrick Mahomes, yeah, of course. I think his younger days it was more of Cam Newton, but as he really became a fluid passer, he really started to try to watch and understand and educate himself on like how certain guys are moving the ball downfield, how their arms are moving in certain movements so that he can kind of understand how his body works. And, it's just different ways of learning and seeing, doing, just all works together. So
So how does he compare to other guys that you've trained in the past? You're a quarterback guru. You've worked with lots of talented kids.
DJ and Coach Dickey, long time, like maybe 2 years ago, he was the coach at A&M, quarterbacks coach, OC, and he was just like, "Tell me about this kid," because I sent him some videos, and I was like, "Man, I trained Malik Hornsby, and I trained Demetrius Davis, and I've trained Cameron Ward, and I've trained some guys who have some incredible arms, and also put it together rapidly fast." But he's the fastest one. Like he literally put it together the fastest, and I had to remind him at times, like all these guys they're comparing you to have been throwing it since they were babies, DJ, and you have done almost the unthinkable to me. And regardless of the naysayers, you've remained to be unbreakable, and you continue to work regardless of what you hear. He keeps his head down. At times, I think he works harder, uh, and he definitely works around the clock all through the spring. He was waking up at what 4 o'clock to go to a trainer at 4:30 and go to school and then come train with me or maybe with Coach Bowie, with the strength coach or the speed coach. So the kid is not as afraid to get better. And in fact, he knows he has to get better because he knows the level he wants to play on. And I think when he gets in the weight room, those guys that specialize in making you even better than when you came, they're gonna love on him, and he's gonna love on the weight room, and he's gonna love on the nutrition, and he's just so already in it all right now. Like whether it's with Coach O'Hara and the playbook, um, standing out there watching Graham Mertz and those guys work out during the spring, during the summer. He just has this gravitation to Florida, and the kid looks good in the blue and orange. I'm rocking the DJ Lagway New Jersey, um, but at the same time, I think. He enjoys the hunt. He enjoys the persistent work that he puts in and the push. And so it's just cool to kind of to be his quarterback coach and sit back and just see where he came from. Especially, I think I posted a video of like the pitcher DJ and how he just kind of started to rise in more of a quarterback motion and being really fluid and quick with what he was doing. And that was in the span of like 2 years almost. And we're just now going into year, 2.5, going into three. So I I doubt there's somebody that has. I said that to Mr. Lagway. I'm excited to go to Elite 11 because I want to see if there's someone that has a higher ceiling than DJ. Like I want to see it, and that was the thing. Like I train quarterbacks all the time, and I thought Julian Sand was amazing. I thought Dylan Riola did a great job. It was Julian Sand's show. I think that competition shows well to guys who are just consistently accurate all the time, not just like the ball skipping off the ground. I think when they say people are kind of up and down, it's just kind of where the ball is. And Julian's ball was just kind of always in the right spot, but DJ was in the top three. The first day, I felt like he was the best guy. The second day, he finished with a 42, which in some of the Elite 11s would have been a really good score. But all these kids have trainers. And so they're all working and they all have strengths and they all have weaknesses. And so I think he did very well to go there and just kind of put himself on that note of, I think y'all thought I was just a running quarterback, you
Mhm.
know, and that's far from what it is. And actually, I'm in a five wide system where I throw the ball every down. If y'all don't watch my film, that's how I would be thinking if I was DJ. But and like the guy doesn't want to run. Like
Right.
he because there's pressure and things happen and he has to make a play. But a lot of his throws on the run happen uh like because of pressure. And so but really cool ones. And I think, it's just kind of ballsy sometimes the throws he throws because it's like, oh my gosh. Like so
Well, we saw after that Elite 11 camp in this summer him drop in the rankings a little bit. And I know that Gator fans were up in arms over that. What do you think about that? And what did you attribute that to? And is that something he pays attention to at all?
I would say leading into there, he wanted to show himself uh of higher than a label that could be
Mhm.
put on him. I don't think it ever was put on him. I think the Elite 11 regional was the one where some people were like, "Oh, he didn't do that well," but that was when we came back from Florida. We ate something in Atlanta. DJ got sick on the plane and like sick, was throwing up everywhere. We got off the plane in Houston. He had to drive to San Antonio for the Elite
Uh,
11 out. And he went there, and no one knew that, and he wouldn't tell anyone that. And so, like, he was dehydrated. Mr. Lagway was trying to give him fluids and stuff. Just people will say whatever they want to say, but DJ's starting to understand that that's not the narrative if I don't let it be. And
mhm.
so that's kind of what led into the whole Elite 11 thing was I'm going to control my narrative regardless of what they say. And when he went there, he had put so much work in. He showed himself more than worthy. He showed himself that he was more than enough to be in the Elite 11. And, people on three, if they want to drop him, but why is Florida so high? And people don't want to see Florida so high. Like regardless of the conspiracy or whatever, it's just you guys had a very low record, but you're very high in the ranking. So
Mhm.
to do that and to make sense of things, that's kind of how I feel about it.
Mhm.
But at the same time, like I think all the young men did a good job. I think it was a different environment for some. Um, but at the same time, he there wasn't a lot of talk about DJ too. So everybody could say whatever they want because they didn't see anything. But the first night was the uh, the rail shot challenge. He made it to the top four. There's 20 guys there.
Yep.
Nobody said about that. Um, at the same time, like I said, he was in a group with Dylan Riola, Julian Sand, Air Nolan, but Cromanek wasn't in that group. So I don't know how you see Julian, Dylan, Air Nolan, and Cromanek. Did you not look when DJ went?
Right.
So
Right.
it's. it's that same thing. But you know, DJ doesn't care. Like he doesn't care about any of it. Um, Man can't block God's blessing for us, and DJ knows that truly. And it's not about the moment. This is a marathon. And he's in a great place to be a great player and be admonished way later.
Mhm.
And like I told Mr. Lagway when we go to the stadium all the time, there's going to be a thing over there right next to Tebow, up in the banners, and there's going to be a statue over there. And so he's an amazing kid. I've coached a lot of great quarterbacks, ones that I think would be great NFL quarterbacks too. But he was he seemed like he really could be a kid that instantly everybody loved. He'd be a kid that would be a number one draft pick one day with his smile, his Wheaties box smile. But he also has just God given attributes that I haven't seen with a kid his age before. And to possess those things, and for me to be able to kind of coach him up on how to do some of those things way better than like how he kind of was working with it before, or just the understanding. It's just been crazy, and people come and watch us work out all the time that have kids that are quarterbacks that might finish a session and just sit there and watch him because they just want to. They're like, man, this is the kid. Like he's amazing. He's amazing. And I mean, the ball doesn't touch the ground. You know, when they were talking about up, down, he had up. I don't know where those were. There's actually a YouTube video that I think a guy Baller Tribe posted that was there on site for day 1 through 3.
Mhm.
That showed every throw of DJ, and so like you could see that there was no up and down. The 7-on-7 wasn't that great. It was great how he moved the ball downfield, but then there was times where the receivers just kind of lagged on routes, and that was when he kind of got 2 interceptions. So, and one of them was 2 yards away from the end zone, so like he was about to get a touchdown, but he did
Right.
a great every time moving the ball. Like, and I think some Elite 11 coaches got on there and said that his stats that were posted, you know, if without context, really didn't give to how DJ performed that day or any of the days because it's very accurate.
Well,
And so
and it's just a couple days too, right? It's just a
it's
small
t-shirts,
snapshot.
it's t-shirts and shorts, and so like I don't even like a pro day really gives you a good measurable on a guy that has t-shirts. Like our game is physical, and
Mhm.
there's 11 people on the other side who don't want to see you get an inch. And
Right.
so when that happens, you know, those, what Blake Barnett, you know, when those guys sometimes get into those situations, Jalen Hurts has to appear. And
Mhm.
so, and I don't think everybody had him as high as they had Blake Barnett. And both those guys were true freshmen coming in. So, you know, and the game has changed. The game has changed so much to where the two guys that were in the Super Bowl were not only African American quarterbacks, but they were dual threat guys that could move the ball. And the way you have to move in this game, that's how the quarterbacks have to play, regardless of race. Like they have to move the ball with their legs, their arms, and move the pocket as well, and be able to kind of bounce around and make some unorthodox throws. And so, if a kid can do that early on, like it's a no-brainer for me for how many stars he should have or how high he should be in the ranking. Because if this is all about who's going to get drafted before who in the top 32, and what does Cam Newton say? Find 32 people. Like,
Mhm. Yeah. I mean, I totally agree. And the game has changed a lot. And I do think if you look at the guys that are at the top of the NFL right now, you can see, what DJ Lagway could be in the future. But let's talk a little bit about his recruiting process. How involved were you through this process, and what advice did you give him?
um, I try to help all the kids out. Um, at different times, it happens for different ones.
Right.
Um, DJs happen. I think going out of his ninth grade year into going into his 10th grade year. And I told Mr. Lagway really how some of the big name quarterbacks that I trained that were highly ranked, like this is kind of how they had a motion going. This is how they kind of carried their recruitment to try to build up not hype but a campaign.
Hmm.
And so what we really tried to do was each week DJ had a game. I kind of tried to take some of the best plays that he had and kind of post them on my Twitter, but
Hmm.
also on Twitter as we were building his Twitter up.
Sure.
Um, because there was a lot of coaches who were already following me, but he also was kind of starting to accumulate some offers like the A&M and the U of H, which just starts intriguing people. Like, who is this kid?
Sure.
Um, and so, as you know, different coaches started to see him. They wanted to get him out there in the spring. He was already kind of wanting to take visits, and Mr. Lagway was ready to kind of help kind of find the right place, or at least kind of start the communication train. And so that's what he started to do kind of during the season. I think that 10th grade year, he went up to LSU. He went to Baylor. He went to some other places. I'm not too sure if he had came to Florida yet. But he always had the want to for me to reach out to Florida. And I was telling him when I found out that Florida was number one, even though he didn't have an offer from them. And he had schools like Georgia, he had schools like USC. I was like, you like Florida? Like, what? Me and his dad be like, what gets you about Florida, DJ? And it's like, I really like the school. I like the history of the school. I like the football team. Like, yeah, they're not winning right now, but I like the team. I like the colors. I've always wanted to kind of wear that, So, that was, it's not a kid that doesn't know who Tim Tebow is. He's not a kid who doesn't know kind of the rich history of Florida. His dad was a football player, so I'm sure he was in the living room watching football. And so he just had this gravitational pull to Florida that when he finally got the offer, Mr. Lagway, he could probably tell you this story, but he was like, dude, I think I had to hide his phone because he was scared he would kind of call the coaches and tell them he would commit that night. And so um, it was just that's the how the recruitment started from him for him. He always wanted to be a Gator, but other schools also had other things that were enticing to him, like the quarterback position as far as being developed.
Sure.
Um, so when he went to certain schools, Lincoln Riley, um, Coach Smart, uh, and so a lot of those schools he was looking at based on how he could be developed. And so there was a lot of really great quarterback coaches and head coaches who were quarterback coaches to jump into the mix. And I think then uh, it was kind of crazy because what was it? Cliff Kingsbury ended up going, to USC. So it's like somebody was like, "You think he's gonna go?" I was like, "No, I don't think so." But the main time I was like, "I don't think so," is when everybody was in the uproar about the Clemson thing. I don't know where that came from. Me and Mr. Lagway laughed about that. We had a good chuckle, but it was, I guess someone said it's because of the Vegas ratings or something, or because of what Vegas said. So, no,
It's
that's not happening.
it's because it's the dog days of summer and everybody's looking for something to talk about. But I know that you have been to Gainesville a lot. You have met Coach Napier. Can you tell me a little bit about his relationship with DJ Lagway?
They're very close. They are, he has a moment to get to get DJ to the side and talk to him, he is. And when I was up there, he just kind of mentioned some things that DJ could work on, and so he really just is taking the opportunity to kind of. Get to know DJ, get to know his parents, find out, who the Lagways were. He did all of that. And he really enjoyed, the company he had when they were around him, how humble they were, just the genuineness of that family, but also the type of athlete DJ was and what he could do in his offense. And Coach Napier is not the first coach that I've sent a quarterback to. And so I understand his system and how things work, and also what he can do with a very dangerous quarterback like DJ, and also SEC players.
Mhm.
I think he just, has to have a little time to kind of get his infrastructure right, get guys to buy in, let the community understand who he is and how he's going to try to, bring this program back from, the swamp. But I think he also understands the culture of Florida, Gainesville. He understands what the swamp really is, and we heard that all the time. Swamp rising. It's just that's the type of thing that Joe Hamilton and Coach O'Hare and Coach Napier have really just pushed into DJ, and I think that's what you see in the recruitment part of DJ for trying to get other players. And I think they all work, within each other to try to figure out who they want to go after, and who's a real strong target. And I think DJ gets to kind of say, hey, what about this kid here? You know about him? I think he's done that a couple of times. And Draylon Miller is one of them that I know off the top of my head. But you know, he I think every time he's gone up there, he's always brought somebody. And I think that just shows again the type of family they are. And Coach Napier knows that, and Coach Napier's got to meet some of those kids who may not have had that opportunity. And just a word from Coach Napier, I'm sure can go a long way in their own journey and pursuit. And so he also took that time, and now that's just cool because I've been places where the the extra person or whoever came, they kind of had to sit in the hallway.
Right.
um, that's not what the Lagways were trying to do at any point on any visit with anyone. They wanted everyone to get a chance to see what it's like, but also have the opportunity to be recruited or evaluated. And so they're going to be an awesome get for you guys. And the magician, he's headed up there. Y'all get Houdini. So he's just he's a wonderful dude, and um, like I said, it's cool to do this on his birthday today. So
Well, Gator fans are very excited for DJ Lagway to head to the swamp. But, Coach, tell Gator fans where they can follow you on social media. I'm sure you're going to have lots of updates this fall high school season, and we want to know where to follow you.
oh, most definitely. You can find me at the QB Tech on Twitter. On social media, it's the same, and I also have my company, which is at 5 star 5 number 5 star GQB. That's on IG. That's where you can see guys like DJ put his hoodie over his head and throw it blindfolded, or do it be in the opposite direction, which hasn't been done by anybody. I know they talk about Spencer Sanders doing it, but he did it the other way. So I think that way is pretty impressive, nonetheless. So to do it is to really have some control of your body anyway. So either way was impressive. But that's where you can find guys like DJ Lagway training and working to become better. And we also try to encourage you guys to stay in tune with God. And I think uh, you have to make sure that's right in your life to be able to do the impossible. So thank you guys for having me, and it was a joy to be on you guys' show.
Well, I appreciate you so much, Coach.
Thank y'all. Y'all been great, and
All right.
I'll more of you guys' show. And but Allie, love talking to you, and I enjoy you got your show, and keep up the great work.
Well, thank you so much, Coach. We appreciate all your time.
No doubt. Thank you,
All
and
right.
God bless.